What's going on there, fam, and welcome back to NBA Reloaded. Many people want to play in the NBA, but only a few have the chance. Only the best 10 in their high school can make it to the NBA, which is exceedingly challenging. However, some athletes were given the chance to play in the NBA and change their lives. Many people took advantage of this opportunity and advanced their careers, while others wrecked it with their own hands, resulting in a ruined career. It's significantly tougher to stay in the NBA than it is to enter it. To follow their ideas, one must stick to them, yet some clearly don't. This video will discuss NBA players that ruined their careers in a matter of seconds. Before we get started though, please remember to like this video and do remember to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Number 1. Ian Clark. He's not one of the most well-known NBA players, but he had a turbulent NBA career. The Orlando Magic selected him 13th in the 1998 NBA draft, but he was later traded to the Denver Nuggets. He only stayed with the Nuggets for 3 years before being moved to the Utah Jazz, Toronto Raptors, and Sacramento Kings. He only stayed in each of those teams for a year. He was accused of guns and marijuana possession in 2006, but he didn't appear in court. He was eventually apprehended and hauled to trial, where he acknowledged consuming alcohol since high school and never playing an NBA game sober. He was sentenced to 8 years in prison on weapon charges in 2013, and that's when he damaged his career with his own hands. He's now living a peaceful life in his hometown after failing to make it in the NBA. Number 2. Latrell Sprewell. The Golden State Warriors selected Latrell as the 24th choice in the NBA draft because of his potential as a solid basketball player. During his debut year, he averaged 15.4 points per game and had the greatest field goal percentage in his career. He continued to improve until 1997 when his slide began. During a Warriors practice on December 1st, his coach PJ Carlesimo shouted at him for making a mistake, to which he retorted that he wasn't prepared for any form of criticism and threatened to kill him. Not only that, but he grabbed his coach by the throat and pulled him for 7 seconds until other players arrived to free him. After 20 minutes, Sprewell returned and struck Carlesimo in the face, generating additional turmoil. Isn't this peculiar? Well, he was suspended by the Warriors in 1998 and played just 14 games for them. He was later moved to the New York Knicks, then to the Timberwolves, where he spent 2 seasons. After his second season, he announced his retirement from basketball, claiming that the Timberwolves' offer of $21 million was insufficient to sustain his family. He had no idea that this was the last contract given to him, therefore ending his career. He could have been one of the best players if he had just stayed and played without troubles. Number 3. Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert was one of the top players of his day, scoring incredible points throughout the course of his 6-year career. He was injured in 2008, but returned in 2009 to 2010, playing 34 games and averaging 22 points. He and his colleague Javaris Crittenton played a card game on his flight to DC. He had already wrecked his career at this point, but he had no idea. Both of them invested $1,100, but something unusual and incorrect happened during the game, and they parted ways. Arenas informed Crittenton that he played with guns, to which Crittenton replied that he did as well. Aaron Butler, who observed the entire incident, stated that on December 21st, when he got to the locker room, he noticed Gilbert standing by his locker with 4 pistols and urged Javaris to come and choose one. When Gilbert vowed he'd shoot him with one of those, Javaris pulled out his own loaded gun. Meanwhile, all of the players fled while Butler stayed. He attempted to convince Javaris that if he shoots, his career and life would be destroyed. Gilbert was kicked out of the league after 2 years, and Javaris was sentenced to 23 years in prison due to murder charges later. He ultimately quit in 2012, putting an end to his career with his own hands. Number 4. Len Bias. Len was supposed to be an all-time NBA great because of his outstanding playmaking talents, but that unfortunately didn't materialize. People even likened him to Michael Jordan, and he was the Boston Celtics' second selection in the 1986 NBA draft. When he returned to Maryland after the draft, he purchased a new sports vehicle and visited his alma mater, the University of Maryland, to greet his classmates. He then went to an off-campus party and shared cocaine with his buddies. At 6:32 a.m., Bias became unconscious and unable to breathe. He was brought to the hospital where medical personnel attempted unsuccessfully to restore his breathing and heartbeat. He died at 8:55 a.m. from a cardiac arrhythmia caused by cocaine overdose. Bias was unable to make it to the NBA due to his own blunders, and his performance will remain a mystery. Number 5. Eddie Griffin. The New Jersey Nets selected him 7th in the 2001 NBA draft, but he was later traded to the Houston Rockets. He was named Freshman of the Year at his institution, but departed after a dispute with a teammate and considered himself an NBA candidate. Throughout his career, he was hooked onto alcohol, which led to his death. In August 2007, his automobile collided with a speeding train and he died at the age of 25. According to reports, he was 3 times above the legal limit of alcohol when the collision occurred, resulting in his death. Number 6. Javaris Crittenton. He was a member of the Washington Wizards from 2008 to 2010. He's still remembered as the person who carried a pistol to the locker room and aimed it at a teammate, as we previously mentioned. On January 25, 2010, he was found guilty and suspended from the NBA. He never returned to the league after that. Years later, he was found guilty of killing a mother of 4 children and sentenced to 23 years in prison. He will now be released in 2036. And even if he does get out, it's apparent that his career has been damaged to a point that he will never be able to return to the NBA. Number 7. Tyreke Evans. Evans played the most of his career with the New Orleans Pelicans and Sacramento Kings. He also won Rookie of the Year and scored well throughout his career until he was suspended by the NBA for 2 years for violating the anti-drug policy, which specifies that NBA players are not allowed to utilize narcotics. The NBA club never revealed what drugs he used, but they did issue a statement about reaching out to Tyreke. Following this revelation, many began to speculate that Evans could be a drug addict, although no official statement has yet been published. However, the athlete has been working and training hard to make a comeback when his ban is over, but his reputation has been tarnished, putting his career at risk, and it's not known at this point whether the NBA will hire him back or not. Number 8. O.J. Mayo. Mayo was the 3rd choice in the 2008 NBA draft by the Minnesota Timberwolves and was later moved to the Memphis Grizzlies. He was such a fantastic player that Kobe Bryant once offered him to play alongside him, but unfortunately, he received a 10-game suspension in 2011 after failing a drug test. He returned to the field, but was suspended for 2 years in 2016 for violating anti-drug laws. His tale is identical to that of Tyreke Evans, although he continues to play in China. He may, however, return in 2018 following his ban and establish himself. However, regaining the NBA's trust is extremely difficult, especially after breaching their regulations. There are some athletes that are well known for their abilities and few have a large fan base. However, their blunders wrecked their careers and thus were unable to regain their reputation. Many young folks today are yearning to get into the NBA because of its reputation and fame. Who knows, maybe you could be the next lucky one to make it to the NBA, but even if you do get in, you have to be sure to abide by their rules and earn their trust. And with that, we've come to the end of our video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on our future videos going forward. And if you haven't done so already, don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, as well as share this video with your friends and family. Finally, do drop your opinions in the comments section below to let us know your thoughts about this whole thing. Until next time, take care and goodbye.